What's going on, everybody? This is Brian Mazique, aka UniqueMazique, the hardest working man in sports and gaming. And I'm smiling because I'm talking like this is the beginning of the show, but this has been going on for longer than it should have been because we had a after at me, bro, talk that turned into its own separate show, literally. And you guys will see it. Just when you see it, you'll know. All I got to do. All I'm going to ask you, all I'm going to say is two words. Well, three words. The Big Dipper. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that, and you guys will know what I'm talking about. But this is Ask Us, Bro, where we talk and where we answer the questions that come to us on Twitter. Remember, if you want to be down, shoot us the question at me, bro, or at me, bro show, or at me, bro show, and just use the hashtag Ask Us Bro, and we'll get into that question. But we're going to make this an accelerated version because we have already delayed this.
We've been on here for 4 hours.
And I'm going to tell y'all right now, today is my wife's birthday. So
that's right.
The rest of this day is going to consist of me doing pretty much whatever she tells me to do. So let's just go.
Starting with apologizing.
Exactly. So let's see. The first question comes from Kerry Williams, 83. And he says, do you think, now I think Kerry meant this as a joke. So I hope he did. Because he says, do you think that if NBA Live gave Charles Barkley $1 million to be in their game, that it would improve their sales? I don't know if you joking with me, you joking on EA, or what you talking about, Kerry. No.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that a hard no.
I don't think so.
I'll say this though. They might slightly improve the sales of their game if they got Charles Barkley to do what he does on TNT in the game.
Yeah,
if they did a good job of that, and it was like him and Jalen and Jeff Van Gundy on their own special little video game desk, going back and forth, I would probably want to see that if it was good.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's going to do it.
Now,
I want to see a video of that. I don't know if I want to buy the game for it.
Would it get them $1 million worth of sales? No, it would not.
No, it would
There's
not.
Nothing Charles Barkley can do to get $1 million in video game sales.
No, not it. See, I think a lot of people don't realize, man, and I think this is pretty much what 2K's whole thing is. Like, Charles Barkley is saying that he wants this, whatever he wants. And I think what he's asking for is actually kind of strange because the 2K already has to pay, the Retired Players Association to a degree so kind of Charles Barkley's request is a little convoluted. I've actually talked to the president of the NBA alumni about this exact situation. And it's a little bit true, but not exactly the way Charles makes it sound, right? So the thing of it is, and what I think 2K is looking at is that, dude, you're really not that relevant to the majority of our fan base.
Yeah. I don't think outside of Mike, there's anybody, and Kobe.
Mike and Kobe. Mike and
Kobe are the only two players that aren't playing today that could actually move units of the game.
100% correct. 100%. Not even Reggie Miller. Not the three biggest omissions is Barkley, Reggie Miller, and Rasheed Wallace, and none of those guys are needle movers.
Yeah,
So I mean, but honestly, this might blow your mind if you're 30 and over. The majority of the 2K community know Reggie Miller and Charles Barkley more as announcers and analysts than they do as players.
I think it totally makes sense to Charles because honestly, I mean, I think I was in high school when he played on the Suns.
Yeah.
Had that great game, series against the Bulls and stuff like that.
Yeah, 93.
But that was like the last significant thing he did as a player too.
Well, he forced himself out of Phoenix into Houston, and that's what that's what Scottie Pippen got mad at him. Scottie said, "Man, if I had known that you was gonna bring me here and then show up not in shape, I would have stayed where I was at."
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So and he, Charles apologized. He's like, "Dude, I'm sorry," because he knew that he went fat on it.
Yeah.
He knew he did. He just went fat on it. You know what I'm saying? He looked at him like, dude, I got a fat future. That's all I can tell you. I got a fat future.
Never trust
So
a fat guy who plays basketball.
so he, but yeah, he doesn't move the needle. He doesn't
You
move the
you
needle.
you run so much in the NBA that if you still manage to be fat, you got to eat him
You
properly.
worked on it. You worked at it.
What's the next question, Pete?
You worked at it. The next question comes from Dope D. Dope D is a frequent Ask Us Broer, and we appreciate you. He says, why do you think NBA 2K stopped doing Legends commentary for the classic teams like they did in 2K12? And should they bring it back along with doing special commentary for the all-time teams? Now, Dope D, I love me some nostalgic basketball. Y'all will hear that even more in the Big Dipper conversation. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I love the legends. I love the old school players. I love it. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I just don't. They get like 8.5 to 9 months, man, to make these games every year. That's what they get, right? And they have to make decisions on what goes in, what they have to make those decisions, right? And the time and effort that it would take to record commentary for, especially to make it good, right? Especially to make it good, to record these lines specifically for classic teams and then specifically for all-time teams. If you were to look at, if they take their analytics and they say, how much are people playing with the all-time teams? How much are people playing with the classic teams? And if they showed you those analytics and then showed you a bar graph, you just stop talking and go, I'm just happy they keep them in the game.
Yeah. The reality of it is that the game is primarily, it's first, I think, Park, second, my team, third.
Well, they say my career is the one that's played the most.
Well, I was gonna say third Pro-Am. The key with my career is that my
the whole
career
joint.
is
Yep.
tied into Park and Pro-Am.
Absolutely.
But yeah, those 4 modes is NBA 2K, and everybody else, just be thankful it's still in the game.
It's still in the game, man. I'm telling you. And I hate to say that, and I know a lot of people feel they take that as it's not consumer focused or whatever. But when your consumer base is so segmented, like 2K's is, man,
they are being consumer focused.
They are being consumer focused. It's just not maybe the group that you're most interested in.
And to be fair, as a passive observer, the Park, Pro-Am, and my team crowd is the most passionate, vocal, largest 2K fan base.
They are the largest, and they are the ones that screaming the most. And they're screaming more about, archetypes and green releases and missed layups than you are about commentary for a classic team or an all-time team. So this is why, like, a lot of people say, man, ooh, you pumping up 2K. Hey, I definitely criticize 2K a lot. I do it in print and in vocal and on video, right? But I also am conscious enough to say, dude, it is amazing that they are still not only including these all-time teams and classic teams, but adding to that whole concept. Like this year, they added the ability to put in classic draft classes.
Yeah, because here's the thing. If 2K took out all of the modes we mentioned and it was just an NBA game, it'd still be a fantastic.
It's still sell.
I mean, it'd be great. All right, what's the next question?
Yep, it would definitely still sell. Probably almost it'd sell 9.7 million copies. So what, all right, the next question comes from Kerry Williams. And he says, this is his second question, which is much better than the Charles Barkley question. He says, should these guys have their number retired? Yes or no? Number 1 for the Magic, Penny Hardaway.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
And I agree. The reason why I agree is because the Magic history is not as if it's this storied history packed with championships.
You can't tell their story without Penny Hardaway.
You can't tell their story with Penny. He's part of the first great team that they ever had. Mm-hmm. And, they went to the finals and he was the point guard and he was the second best player on the team. So, yeah. So which automatically pretty much answers the next question. Number 32, Shaq, Orlando
Yeah,
Magic.
yeah, you have to.
Have to. But this person clearly, Kerry must live in Orlando because his next question is number 12, Dwight Howard, Orlando Magic.
Yeah, yeah.
I would think so because if you retired Shaq, then you had to have retired Dwight
Because they
Howard
essentially
because
have the same career,
they
right?
have honestly Dwight's is even better because Dwight's got
Better,
like
right?
3 or 4 defensive player of the years. And Shaq never had that. You know, he didn't
And
score quite like him, but he did have that.
it is going to be a running theme on this show. I hate the fact that we don't reward defense and rebounding
Yes.
to the degree that we reward scoring.
Yeah.
Not it is a game where you got to score the basketball, but
Mm-hmm.
we look at guys who led the league in rebounding
Like,
so different. Right. Yeah, whatever.
eh.
He just grabbed every rebound. Who cares?
Right. Because you can't
That's
score if you don't have possession.
tremendous. Exactly. The defensive possession doesn't end until you get the ball.
You get the rebound.
And if your guy does that more than the other guys, Pat Riley used to say rebounding wins championships.
Yeah.
So you can't win the game if you don't win on the glass. And so guys like DeAndre Jordan, who just were tops in the league for all of their lives, I think they need to be looked at a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I look at a guy like, say, Tracy McGrady, great player, he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. What DeAndre Jordan did defensively and rebounding wise is roughly equivalent to what Tracy did offensively.
Yeah. And you
I'm
could
not
say
saying
that they got more wins from DeAndre Jordan's rebounding than Orlando got from Tracy McGrady scoring.
in the modern era, I mean, he gave us the only Clippers team that looked like they were ever going to do anything. So, and he wasn't bad in Dallas, and in New York, he's teaching Mitchell Robinson how to play at a rapid pace. He's got that guy doing his thing. So, players like that
That
were
was a
great rebounders, they need to start getting their respect, particularly if they're also great defenders.
that was a really smart mentor to get for him.
Yeah, I'm so glad we kept him and didn't waive him because
Yeah.
he's changing literally by the day. He looks like a monster.
Yeah, that was a really smart mentor. All right, the next guy on this list is we're going into Bucks territory right now. So just so you know, Glenn Big Dog Robinson, number 13.
Can't do it.
He said can't do it.
Can't do it.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. I watched Glenn. I watched the Glenn Vin Baker era, and I just can't do it.
Yeah, you know, it's really interesting though because he was a scoring machine, man. I mean, 8 seasons with the Bucks, he averaged 21 a game over 8 seasons, 21.6 boards a game.
You know how they say a quiet 20?
Yeah, you could definitely say that. You could say that because he did average 20 for some bad teams. They only went to the playoffs 3 times. He was only on one team that ever went deep into the playoffs, and that was the 2000-2001 team. And you could easily make the argument that he wasn't the best player on that team for sure because Ray Allen was on that team.
Well, what do we say about Penny? We say you can't tell the story of the Orlando Magic without talking about Penny.
Yeah, but it's the Bucks got a much longer story though.
You could leave parts out and still leave out Glenn. you could start from his first year and leave him right on out.
Yeah, here's the reason why I think that you can't retire his number is Glenn Robinson's number is because I think the biggest story still to this day about Glenn Robinson is the fact that he got that humongous contract as the number 1 overall pick and the controversy around that. His game never superseded that conversation. You know, so it's like, you remember when LeBron got the big contract before he played a minute of basketball and he got the humongous Nike contract and how everybody was talking about that? Nobody talks about that anymore. You know, and nobody talks about it anymore because everything he's done on the floor has just blown that out. That it's like that looks like a bargain what they paid him. You know, based off of the impact he's had for Nike. The conversation about Glenn Robinson, that's still the biggest deal.
Yeah,
it's still to this day is the biggest deal. So, what's the cat's name?
Leia.
What's going on? Oh, I knew that. Star Wars. She just showed up for the show. She need a headset. She need a headset. All right, next is so clearly this came. You already answered this pretty much. Number 22, Michael Redd.
Nah, not gonna be able to do it.
No, no way. No way. I mean, unless you just giving out retired numbers like like somebody went to the DMV to get their license changed over. I mean, no way. Come on, man.
The other players that we retired all made it to the finals.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Redd? Did he even make it past the second round?
I don't know.
Ever? I mean, he put up some numbers though. I mean,
Michael Redd was a really good player till he got hurt.
11 seasons with the Bucks, 20 a game over 11 seasons. That's significant. It really is. And I really hate to dismiss him and like that, but he only went to the playoffs 3 times, man, and they never got out of the first round.
That's the reason you don't retire somebody's number.
Yeah. And one year in 05-06, they didn't make it out of the first round, but it wasn't because of him. He averaged 27 a game.
And let's say, I think this is a factor when it comes to the Bucks, is they look like they're going to have more success than they've had in our times watching them.
Yes.
If they keep this together.
Except for the 80s, though. The 80s Bucks was really good.
Yeah.
But no, they might
Well, they look like they might still be better than that, right?
This is a finals-like team.
And here's the thing. If Giannis and Budenholzer and the rest of those guys come together and are consistent, even if they don't win the championship, even if they just make the finals a couple of times, make the Eastern Conference Finals a couple of times, because the East is very competitive, as you said earlier on the show, that's still way better than the Bucks have been. Right. So we have to wait for the Giannis era, because what happens is your franchise level determines who gets retired and who doesn't. It's a lot harder to get retired as a Laker than it is as a Milwaukee Buck.
Yeah.
Right? So, and the Milwaukee Bucks look like they're in for a pretty good run here. And I would say all of these so-so Sammys that played in the 80s and 90s.
You ain't nothing but a so-so Sammy.
They in trouble.
Yeah. So, okay. So, does Ray Allen get his number retired with the Bucks, number 34?
I would say yes, but Ray is like, because there's a tradition in the NBA where you retire great players who stopped and had a cup of coffee.
Yes.
Ray was drafted by the Bucks. He won. What did he win in the? I mean, he did All-Stars.
He went to the All-Star game. He was on that same team with Glenn Robinson. He was the highest scorer on that team in the 2000-2001 year. Yeah. When they went, I think they went to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah. And he was the reason they went. I would
him
say
him and Glenn Robinson averaged the same amount of points. They both averaged 22 a game.
I should say the addition of Ray Allen was the reason they went.
You could say that because Glenn Robinson was already there.
And Sam Cassell too. You can't tell the Bucks story without Ray Allen because of how important Ray Allen is as a player. Ray Allen, while I would not take him over Kobe Bryant, like some people on this show, I do think Ray's a great player. At 43 years old, he could clearly help a team right now. Yeah, he's shredded, still can shoot. I wouldn't mind seeing him come off the bench in OKC or LA if they made the playoffs and made a run or something like that. It'd be awesome. But yeah, so Ray, it's because of Ray overall as a player, not necessarily just his career in a Bucks uniform.
Yeah, I think for me, my criteria is you have to be a Hall of Famer, or if you're not a Hall of Famer, you have to have played a significant role in winning a championship, or you need to have 12 plus years of spectacular service with at least 6 All-Star game appearances. Yeah. Like something like that. That has to be that you, and I know that didn't happen for Penny, but I think the Magic situation is different because their history is so short.
Yes, and he made the finals as an All-Star.
Yeah. So the last one is hilarious because he said it's for the Hawks, number 16, Cliff Hagan.
Wait, which Hawks?
The St. Louis Hawks. And I know a bunch of people that said, who?
Why is he asking about Cliff Hagan? Is that your uncle?
Cliff Hagan. His
Is that your cousin or something?
6'4", 210 pounds out of the University of Kentucky. He's 87 years old. He'll be 88 on December 9th, aka Lil Abner.
I mean,
Hall of Famer, class of 1978. Oh, yes.
well, what's the next Ask Us Bro question?
You know what? I vote they retire Cliff Hagan's number. That's my vote. Why not? Why not? Who's wearing 16 right now that could kick up some dust? Who wants some smoke? Who wants some
What do you think, Leia?
Who wants some smoke with 87-year-old Cliff Hagan?
Let Leia approves. Put him in. Congratulations, Cliff.
He's in. All right. Next up, question comes from Michael Rigsby Jr. Every time I read your name, Mike, this is Mr. 1989. I want to go Eleanor Rigby. I don't know why. And it's Michael Rigsby, but I just want to say that. All right. It says, with baseball season approaching, UniqueMazique, you being a huge Cubs fan, and Nelson Blake II not really being into baseball. Brian, if made commissioner, what would you change or add to attract new fans? And Nelson would gain your interest to attract the game beyond the casuals. So how would I attract Nelson more to baseball? I would have a 3-point contest during the I'd had a 3-point contest after the 3rd inning. After the 6th inning, there would be a guitar solo.
Yeah.
And then in the 9th inning, everybody on both teams would have to come out dressed as Marvel Comics and DC characters. And I think he'd tune in for that. But outside of that, he probably ain't watching it.
Yeah. See, here's the real problem with baseball. I tell you, the positives about baseball is not expensive to get a ticket. I can pop up one over to Shea Stadium, watch my Mets at any time. The Yankees is pretty far. Bronx is far from where I live, but Shea Stadium I could throw a rock in Shea Stadium, basically.
Well, don't go to Shea because they don't play there no more. City
Field. City Field. It's funny. My mom works at City. I should know, right? City Field. So, and I like both teams. Some people have a problem with liking all of their hometown teams. Like I said, I would love to love every hometown team. Unfortunately, the Jets exist. So
no gangrene.
Unfortunately, I can't love every New York team. I root for the Liberty if they do well. You know what I mean? I want all my New York teams to prosper.
Are you the Islanders or the Rangers?
Rangers, definitely.
Okay.
Messier, 94, all that.
Yeah.
But that having been said, baseball is the kind of thing that if I had a kid, I would probably get the kid into baseball because I would be able to take the kid to games, whether they were a boy or girl. Take them to games, have a little crappy baseball food, chill, talk, watch the game. It's still a good outdoorsy park thing. The kid would play games, and I got into baseball when I was a kid because of baseball cards.
Yeah.
That was almost like our Magic the Gathering back then.
It was our My Team.
It's not my team, right? So if baseball had a My Team phone game, I think that could bring in a lot of people.
So you mean like a baseball, Diamond Dynasty, Diamond Dynasty on your phone?
I was just saying basically Hearthstone, but with baseball.
Okay. So just not playing the game, but just using the cards.
Yeah. Just using
so WWE Supercard, but just baseball.
Yeah. And I think
that might exist.
They might have, if they do better with that, here's the thing. I've seen a lot of talks about baseball, never seen a commercial for it. I've seen a lot of stuff for the show, never seen a tie-in with them. So they need to be better about it if they do have one, because there's a whole bunch of basketball-related phone games that I'm never going to play that I know about. Right? And same thing for football, actually. Right? So I think that could bring in more fans. But for me personally, the only way I would do it is if it was a family thing, because when it comes to, it's not that I don't like slower stuff, but I would rather watch games than a game that's between a sport and a game. So golf is a game, not a sport. Pool is a game, not a sport. All right? I can watch golf. I can watch pool. it's only going to be during the big events, or if I pick it up, I'll be more interested in it. But with baseball, it's kind of in between a sport and a game, and I just don't have time, man. Like, I'm watching fight sports, I'm watching football, and I'm watching basketball, and I got a career, and I'm big into music, so I just don't see how following baseball would ever take up that much of my time. I would follow it casually at best.
Yeah, it's like I always say, baseball is a sport that if you don't literally drop dead in love with it as a kid, the chances of picking it up later are very slim.
Yeah.
Very slim, because you it is a slow game. And who picks up a slow moving anything late in life?
Yeah. Even though I don't fall into that crowd, I liked baseball as a kid.
Like I'm talking about, but like I'm talking about like in love with
Yeah,
it.
like no, I was all about it. Like literally, I collected every baseball card. I could have named every player on the Toronto Blue Jays when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
I played it as a sport, followed it, went to games, and then of course the Mets went on their run. So
yeah,
New York was on fire with that. That was
yeah,
like one of the greatest events in New York sports history, even
yeah.
with the other championships and stuff like that. So it's not like I wasn't into it, but when basketball took over for me, that my life was basketball from like the age of probably 14 to 19. That was when I picked up the guitar. I picked up the guitar about 18. I started taking it more seriously around 19. I had to stop playing basketball because I couldn't afford to jam my fingers while I was in a band.
Mm.
It just take me out of practice. I just couldn't do it. It'd be irresponsible. So I stopped playing basketball at that point. But from 14 to 19, I ate, slept, and drank basketball. I'm talking about basketball, video games, clothes, being at the park for 6, 8 straight hours. You know what I mean? Watching
Hmm.
every single game on, NBC. And that
NBC.
lad,
No, 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 don't.
yo, that third game sometimes you was like,
You be nodding on that third game.
you know what I'm saying? Like something about that third game just ain't have it.
Man,
But
Houston Rockets, Utah Jazz game. You be like,
oh, oh. So, you know, I was so about basketball. I didn't have room in my heart for anything for half a decade. And then I got into football when I started to get older and really got into MMA
yeah,
in my early 20s and stuff too.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I love baseball. Was the first sport I ever loved, and
How many games do you watch a year?
I only watch the Cubs. So because I don't have time to do.
Right.
You
Because
know, I
baseball
don't.
games is long. So
Yeah,
let
I
me
don't
ask
have
you,
time.
we're not going to make this whole segment, but a quick question.
Yeah.
Do you think part of the reason it's harder for baseball is because similar to, say, an MMO, right, in video gaming, it
Hmm.
takes up so much time, it's hard to be more than casual and really get into it
I
without
put it.
cutting out something else?
I put it like this. I don't think anybody watches a lot of entire games. I don't think anybody does. Like
You you
hardly,
you
like
need to meet the Latinos in New York, my friend.
like well, I shouldn't say anybody. I think
Yeah,
there's a small percentage of people who watch all of an entire game,
yeah.
right? Because it's very difficult to sit in one spot that long without moving during the day. Especially if you're a Cubs fan, because so
Yeah,
many of the games are still day games,
yeah, yeah.
right? So it's like there's far more night games than there ever used to be, but there's still a lot of them, right? And then even at night, like once you become an adult, man, the game starts at 6:05, 7:05. Like, how
See,
many people
here,
every single night can sit down and not move from 7:05 to 10:15?
here's the thing. I think minute for minute, it's much more value to have a Sunday of football where you watch all of the football games, a
Mm.
Saturday of college football where people watch all the college football games, or an NBA doubleheader where you watch both NBA games.
Well, here's the value in baseball. The value in baseball is staying connected to your team every single day. Like, so even though so here's what I do a lot of times, right? Like I'm sitting here, right? So my computer is here, my game monitor is here, and then my television for watching is here. right? So what I do a lot of times is I'm sitting here and the Cubs are on, right? And I'm hitting it, bam, 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 and I'm hearing what's happening. So and so's up to bat, whatever, and then sometimes I'll turn and I'll watch for a little while, and I'm looking and I boom, boom, boom. So that's what I do during baseball season.
And you know what's crazy? Let me make a comparison to you, and here's why I will never watch baseball. So I'm watching the MMA event that we didn't discuss today, I assume, because it was horrible. But so I'm watching UFC Fight Night, right? And when they go to the ground, you're watching. This is what I love about MMA. Right. You're watching to see whether this turns back into a stand-up, a submission, or a ground and pound, ground dominant situation. With every twist and turn and muscle, you ever like tense up in your chair when they go to the ground? Because I tense up when they go to the ground.
Depends on who it is.
Depending on who it is, like what the situation is. Like, oh, is he gonna get him? Is it gonna be a thing? Is he gonna get out of this?
Yeah.
Or even if it's a guy like Ngannou who doesn't want to go to the ground and they get hold of that leg and you're like, ooh,
is he going down?
Right. MMA, you watch every second fully intently, because the last thing you want to do is turn around to get a drink or go to the bathroom and come back and see somebody up on top of somebody like, you're
like, now I watch postseason baseball that way. Yeah. Postseason baseball, I watch every pitch. But during the regular season, there's so many games, and very rarely, there's never, until we get to the last week of the season, there's no game where every single pitch matters like that. Yeah. It's just no game that like that. So, but in the postseason,
so many games.
Yeah, so in the postseason, if you miss a pitch, that's a lot.
If I wind up getting the show, whether it's because I purchased it or somebody gets me a code, if I get the show, I will start watching playoff baseball.
Yeah, playoff baseball is intense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's intense. Like, it's like every single pitch. You're like,
I agree. I think that might be part of the issue with baseball too. Is baseball's better the more you raise the stakes, as opposed to going to the drastic comparison MMA. Yeah, you could be watching the undercard and be like, "Oh, I'm so glad I didn't miss this fight."
Yeah, because he just got his lips slapped, and
or a situation like Simone, where I'm just like, this kid is sharp.
Yeah,
I'm glad I watched this sharp kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was really glad to see it. It's not, baseball is not in the spectacle; it's in the drama. And the more dramatic baseball gets, the more interested it gets. So I'll say this: if I get the show this year, I will start peeking in more in baseball once the drama raises.
Yeah, and the Mets got something kind of interesting going on. They built their bullpen up pretty decently over the offseason, so it should be interesting to see what goes down. And then Conforto is about ready to like explode as like one of those guys. He's about ready. Like, he's been right there, but he's about ready to just go boom. You know what I mean? So superstars are always like, he had a little bit of a down year on a number standpoint this past year, but I think usually the age 26, age 27 season is when you see a dude just go pow. Yeah. And that's where he's coming to. So we'll see. All right. So I don't know what's up with the baseball stuff today, because we got hit with another one. So this is the last one. It says, that's from Spencer Lane. Spencer says, I'm a big Padres fan and was wondering what you guys thought of the Machado signing, both long-term and short-term. So I don't know if you saw it, but Machado just got 10 years, $300 million. That's a lot of bread. In my personal opinion, I don't think that Machado is a needle mover. And I think he's a guy who will get good numbers. And I think he was one of the best defensive third basemen in the league. I don't know if he's going to be nearly as great as a shortstop, which is what he wants to play. And it was almost like a contingency for the team he signed with. But 10 years, $30 million is the type of deal that somewhat handcuffs. I mean, baseball is different. They don't have salary caps and set the same type of economic structure as the NBA. So, you can go a little deeper if you want to. But That's just I don't know, man. Like, to me, if I'm getting a guy if I'm paying a guy $30 million a year for 10 years in a row, I gotta feel like this is the dude that I'm either building around, which of course that's what they're doing. And I think he's the centerpiece of what becomes a championship team. But yeah, man, I don't. And then too, there's already questions about like his work ethic and just like team demeanor. And I'm committing to you for 10 years, $30 million. I don't know. So I don't know, man. I feel like it's a lot of money. I feel like it's a lot of money for Manny Machado. And I'm not saying Manny Machado's not a great player. He is, but $30 million for 10 years. Yeah. But don't get me wrong. I don't think I didn't want the Cubs to pay Bryce Harper that much. I wanted Bryce Harper, but I didn't want him to pay him that much. So.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed Mazique's answer. Because me and this cat right here are equally qualified to have an opinion on that. And I ain't doing no research for baseball questions. Y'all knew what y'all was getting into when you sent that one.
He said it. The guy before him already knew. He said it's not really but at least he structured it around that.
Baseball questions is a throwback. That's Ask FP. Until the show comes out.
Right, till the show comes out.
I get into baseball.
March
I will embrace that as a learning experience, and both because I know it's an excellent video game.
And also you might look at it and be able to say, you know what I think could be adopted from here and pulled over to 2K.
Yeah.
Because I do that a lot. I look at a lot of different games from different genres because I'm telling you, man, I got at least 3 to 4 things that I see in Call of Duty that will work good in 2K.
Yeah. So there you guys go. I appreciate the questions. We got anything else, B?
We have nothing else.
It was a marathon today.
It was.
It was a good time. I hope the people appreciate the work and material that we give them, because this new special segment that we just happened to pop off into, y'all get a look behind the scenes on that one. And if you watch this and you watch that, you'll get the special information that was not planned.
No,
we just started fighting out of nowhere and decided y'all needed to That is what we do.
Yes.
So like and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all of the support. We appreciate the milestone of our most recent subscriber count. Let's keep it going, onward and upward. Continue to share this on your Twitters, and make sure you guys also follow me and Mazique. I'm at Nelson Blake 2. He's at UniqueMazique. And of course, follow the @MeBro Show Twitter account as well.
Yes. All right. I appreciate you guys watching. God bless and peace.